live streaming Alternative Money Mondays. Thanks for being here. Great to see some familiar smiling faces. Pleasure to be here as always. My name is Jeremy Fletcher, of course, co-founder of Ledgerama, makers of Wallawallet, the trusted, the original, and the safest mobile wallet in the Hedera ecosystem. We're, of course, pleased to be joined by HBAR, favorite influencer in the Hedera ecosystem. Great to see you as always. I know it's a busy day, so thanks. And we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. I'm actually in Nashville, Tennessee at the moment, trying to get checked out of this hotel in a timely fashion. So we're going to make this one down and dirty, quick as possible. Of course, our partner, lead developer of lead developer of Wallawallet, our CTO at Ledgerama, Rob Keynes, and our community manager, Tim Mungai. Pleasure to see you guys as always. So I didn't really have a whole lot of time to dig into Hedera news this week. I know there's a lot of, there's a lot of talk about self-custody going on. Of course, with all the drama and the issues, that came out of the FTX debacle. I look forward to getting back home and digging back in and seeing what the latest and greatest and all that kind of news is. But today we're going to just we're going to talk about the new staking features that have come to Wallawallet. Rob and I have worked super hard. Rob and the team really worked hard on this one. There are some very complicated aspects of building some of these features that we put in. You wouldn't think that something like a countdown timer and collecting rewards, you wouldn't think that those would be all that difficult, but with all the mechanisms that go into triggering rewards and all those kinds of things, I know it was a heck of a job for Rob and the team to develop. So super proud of all the work that was done there. And we're going to get in. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, the tricky thing was the defects in the mirror nodes, right? That's what made it hard. So as far as yeah, but they're supposed to be fixed soon, right? So they're actively working on that. I think they already have a fix for it. It should be in production sometime soon. So
right. So yeah, querying the Hedera nodes directly, getting you that accurate information all the time. But the mirror nodes, there was a couple little issues with the countdown timer. But I know with the collect rewards button, there was some tricky stuff. Had to do some fancy footwork to get that stuff programmed and working in a way that was user friendly. So we're going to take a look at some of the. So we're going to take a look, and let me pull up my. Let's see, where are we at here? Reading Soulbound. Nope.
Well, my favorite part improvement was the node selection. I have to say I love it. Fell in love with it.
Right. Yeah. It's nice to see that graphical interface. Nice, easy way, and plenty of good information, on the capacity of the nodes. At a glance, you can see a lot of information about the Hedera nodes, whether they're, if they're too low. I mean, I think at this time, so basically the nodes have to have at least a certain amount of HBAR staked to them in order to be able to distribute rewards. I don't think we're in any danger of the Hedera Governing Council nodes going too short on HBAR to be able to provide the rewards. But at the time, when we do move into permission nodes on Hedera and HBAR, and then of course even further into the permissionless nodes, having a node with at least the minimum amount of HBAR staked will be a significant issue. So
yeah, so what you see in the user interface will vary depending on whether or not you have the advanced settings enabled too. So if you have advanced settings on, you will see the numbers, but if you don't, then you won't see the numbers in that selection screen. Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and share. Rather than do a live demo, sometimes live demos can be prone to errors and connection issues, and especially because I'm actually tethered to my phone right now and trying to join and stream from the phone and all those kinds of things. I'm actually just going to share a little bit of this web page here. And can you guys see this? Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. All right, so one of the first things that's probably worthy of mention is the payment account, right? So if you're in Wallawallet and you want to configure staking, there are some fees that are associated with staking the HBAR. So you want to make sure that you go into the payment account. Now, this isn't the most up-to-date image of our settings screen, but time was of the essence this week, so cut a little bit of corner. But at any rate, it looks pretty similar. But in order to set up staking in Wallawallet, you are going to need a payment account selected. Because Wallawallet is capable of managing multiple Hedera wallets and accounts, you can select from a range of the accounts that you have within Wallawallet to pay the necessary fees.
That's
Go ahead,
not
Rob.
quite true though, Jeremy. The staking account configuration is always done via the account that you're staking, that you're going to be staking to. So the payment account's not used for that. It's only used for the other query that's done, for the information query. So
right. So
yeah.
right. Within, there's a number of different types of fees within. So the Hedera staking fee itself will be paid from the account that is being staked.
Yeah.
Right. So, but there are other fees that are associated, such as querying. So, as Mance has mentioned in the past, no free lunch. There's a small Hedera micro fee associated with querying the Hedera nodes directly. So things like that are
which you won't need to do once the mirror node issue is fixed, right? So right now you're going to see the wrong countdown timer until that issue gets fixed by Hedera, until the mirror node issue goes into production, the fix. So until then, to see the correct countdown timer, you can pay for the query, or you can just wait for the other timer to elapse. I think the most it's going to do is add an extra day for you to wait. So it's not that big a deal. So if you just wait the extra day, you'll still see the collect rewards button come up once it goes to 0, and it tells you there's pending rewards. So the mirror node query is wrong in the sense that it won't tell you if there's I think the pending rewards is also an issue, right? So it'll show 0 when you actually might have pending rewards, and it shows the invalid start stake date as well. So those are the things that they're going to be fixing.
And we're going to get to a slide that illustrates some of that. Not necessarily differences, but if folks, if HBAR enthusiasts out there have noticed, you might see some differences from one wallet to the next. I've noticed I've opened up some other wallets, and I've seen it looked like the countdown timer was different, or it looked like there was no rewards. Collect rewards was inactive when I knew that I had pending rewards. So some of that is related to the mirror nodes. And Brandon, it looked like you have a question there. You're welcome to pop in at any time.
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right, good. Right. So to start off, you're going to have an account, and I'm assuming with this little walkthrough that you've already got an account set up in Wallawallet. This is just kind of an example account here, but you can see on the interface in your main profile card there, you've got a staking button. So we're going to start off and we're going to tap staking.
We really need to fix that current HBAR price, though.
Oh, you mean the fact that it's looking kind of low?
Yes.
Yes. Well, for a little over 4.5 cents. That's a community effort. Unfortunately, that's not something that Rob and I and the development team will be able to fix. We don't necessarily have direct control over the price of HBAR. That would be nice, but no.
Still, it's a good time to buy and start staking, so you can earn that 6.5%. Though, I enjoy the passive monthly income.
Right.
Or really daily. Yeah.
And of course, as always, our little disclaimer: none of this is investment advice. This is intended for educational and entertainment purposes. So, do your own research. As always, especially in cryptocurrency, you've got to be doing your own research and learning as much as you can, so you can both, knowledge is power, and you want to know as much as you can when you're doing this kind of stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, 4.5 cents.
Just a thought I'm having is instead of me configuring a second account where all the necessary fees are coming from, does it really matter if I use a second account, or I can just use my one account to pay all the fees? Because at the end of the day, the fees in Hedera, they're really inexpensive. So just wondering whether
that extra account, the extra payment account, was really made as a convenience. If you're going to be more of a power user, I guess, and you have, multiple accounts that you want to manage, this way, your fees are paid from that one account while you're in the process of setting up other accounts or doing different configuration. You don't have to keep funding the other accounts, to do things in certain use cases, certain scenarios. And so it does make your life easier in that regard. But there are some cases where the fee has to be paid from that account, and staking is one of them. And so it was really meant as a convenience.
Right. Certainly, there's no issue. I mean, the majority of the users that we've talked to are going to only have one account. Whoa, that was bright. Okay, I want to turn that back off. All right. So yeah, the majority of the users are only going to have one account. But for power users, we make Wallawallet super flexible, and with very feature rich for power users. So, for folks that have got multiple accounts, they might want to be paying fees from one account in order to keep track of them a little bit easier. So, it's really more for the power users, but we wanted to make sure that we catered to both the folks that, that just kind of want to keep it super simple and only maintain one account versus the folks that have lots of Hedera accounts, super HBAR enthusiasts, power users, those kinds of things. So lots of flexibility.
That's right. So if you have one account and you set it up, your payment account will default to that one single account. So it'll still use the same account.
Right.
Okay.
So once you've tapped the staking button, if you have not previously configured staking for the account, of course, you'll get a message pop up that says no staking is configured for this account. And we're going to go ahead and tap configure. And then next, there is a drop down to select a node to stake to. Okay. There's also up here, there's a little bit more behind this drop down that you see next to the account information, to the account ID here, but I'm going to get into that a little bit in another slide a little bit later, because there's some great utility that you can get out of viewing and managing multiple accounts for staking as well. But just to kind of keep it simple at this time, we're going to save that for a little bit later. And then here you can see where it says Hedera node ID or account ID. Now the account ID, we're going to get into that a little bit later. We're going to save the kind of more complicated power user stuff for a little bit later on, things like indirect staking. But you just tap the drop down to select a node to stake to.
Yeah, so just as an aside real quick, so if you have advanced features enabled, you'll see the prompt there for Hedera node ID or account ID. But if you don't have advanced, you'll only see the prompt for node ID. Account ID will still work in both cases, but we did try to make it as easy for first-time users, just so they only would have to worry about the node ID.
Right. Yeah, indirect staking is definitely a power user feature. So most people will not be utilizing that. I forgot to mention at the top of the show that we do this week, like we do every week, we do token giveaways. So at some point in the show, for folks that are out there in the YouTube audience watching, keep your eyes and ears peeled. At some point, I will announce a magic number. That magic number, get your email clients ready, because boy, I tell you, the people watching the show, they fly in fast with these answers. So at some point in the show, I'm going to give out a magic number. You email that magic number to us at info@wallawallet.com, and we're going to give you $25 in HBAR. And then, of course, for our Twitter family, every week we give away 10,000 jam tokens to one lucky Twitter family winner. And we'll announce that at the end of the show as well. But keep your eyes and ears peeled. $25 in HBAR on the table waiting for you. All right, so once we tap the little drop down here on the configure screen, we're going to get a list of Hedera nodes. And this is all 26 nodes that are currently active. Were we up to 27?
25, isn't it 25?
Well, it's 0 through 25, which is a total of 26.
Oh yeah, it is
now.
26, you're right.
Right,
okay.
Right. Unless they added Aberdeen, but I don't remember if Aberdeen had been added in there or not. So
I think it might be in there.
You're on mute, Brandon.
Yeah, should be soon though.
Got it. Okay, great. Thanks for that.
Okay.
All right, so in this case, I selected the IBM node. And you can see here, so the information that you see here is the detailed version of the information, right? So now if I did not have advanced features enabled in Wallawallet, you would see a little less information. Right. So, but I'm a power user, so I always have advanced mode enabled, so I can see all the data. I like to just get all the gobs of data that I can. So here you can see the minimum amount that needs to be staked, the maximum amount that can be staked, and then there's a nice easy wheel there, or a percentage wheel to show you how full the node is currently. So you can see that Tata Communications in this case is 64% full, so that's a good node to stake to. IBM is 54% full. Of course, if it was at 100%, it would show that. It would show you it was 100%, and it would show you that the node was full. And if there wasn't enough, if the node was not meeting the minimum amount staked, then it would reflect there as well as a node. We changed the language, but it was essentially a node that's not recommended. So.
Did you guys notice that the highest is FTPOS for some reason?
Yes, I noticed that.
Yes,
I did.
No idea why, but yeah.
Magalu and Tata were also kind of high as well, from what I remember. Yeah.
And at EDF, I think, as well.
Yeah.
I have no idea why, but
I also remember you had a question earlier on how Hedera would ensure that every single node is kind of uniformly staked. And this answers my question now. I see there's a maximum stake number of about 1.9 billion HBAR.
Right.
So that means once it's full, it'll show the next, you'll obviously stake to the next available one.
Right.
And that will ensure uniformity.
Right. And currently, I mean, there's really no, I mean, it's really just kind of pick your, pick whichever node. It's a little arbitrary as to which one you use. Doesn't really matter. You just kind of pick the node that
as long as it's
prefer.
not full, right? Yeah.
Right. It's
or uptime,
currently,
right? There's been a couple nodes that once in a while they'll come down for whatever reason, and you want to make sure you get off those nodes if that were to happen. So I would subscribe to status, Hedera status, just to double check.
That's a good point. Yeah.
that is a good point. And some of the items that we look, that we're looking to add in, in the future would be something like, when if a node is offline, giving a notification in app.
That'd be a good idea.
Or if a node drops below the minimum staked, the minimum staked amount or maximum staked amount, if you happen to be on a node that dropped below the minimum amount that needs to be staked, of course, you would want to jump off of that node. Those are features that we plan. They're on the to-do list, but there's a pretty hefty backlog, so we will get to those just as soon as we can. All right, so moving right along, once you've selected the node that you want to stake to, you just tap update. Super easy. There is a Wallawallet fee associated with setting up staking. In this instance, you can see that the account the kind of example account here did not have enough HBAR in it. So a warning will pop up telling you that you don't have enough funds to cover the transaction cost. Wallawallet charges an 89-cent fee, equivalent of 89 cents. Currently,
One-time fee. Yep.
Right, one time. Right. So this is something that you'll really only need to do once, unless you decide that you want to change the node for whatever reason. But for all intents and purposes, this is a one-time fee
Per account. Yep.
Right, per account. That's correct. And the reason for that being, Wallawallet really is, we went to great lengths to make sure that your HBAR was locked down tight and super safe, right? So we do charge a small convenience fee for all the effort that went into making sure that those keys are just absolutely sealed up tight. So if you agree to pay the micro fee, just slide to pay, and you'll get a countdown timer. So the countdown timer essentially shows you how long it's going to be until your next rewards are available. The epoch for the Hedera staking is a 24-hour epoch, which basically means that after being staked for 24 hours plus a few hours. So basically the staking epoch begins at 0 hours UTC. So you can see here, this was actually this countdown timer was from the mirror node, and so it's actually missing a day because of that bug that was mentioned a little bit earlier.
No, the mirror node would actually add a day.
Okay. Well, in any case, if you want to get the most accurate information available, you would tap current info. That's going to query the node directly. There's a Hedera micro fee associated with that. But if you want to get the most accurate and up-to-date information, I think it's a tenth of a penny. I forget exactly what.
It's a tenth of a penny. And the reason you'd want to get the updated, accurate information is only if you really wanted to compound daily, because once you click on current info and it shows you the correct time, it may show you the collect rewards button there, which you won't see otherwise. So that would allow you then to collect that day's rewards. But, the daily compounding versus every other day versus monthly, it's really kind of negligible as far as the rewards go after you do the math. So, you probably want to compound more than once a year for sure. But
right, yeah. And as far as the bug with the Hedera mirror node, they are aware of it. We've talked to them. They're well aware of the issue and they're working to fix it. Basically for whatever reason it tacks on a little bit of time, gives you a slightly inaccurate information, but you can always get current info from the node directly. Now we get to the rewards details. So once you have been staked for a period of 24 hours or more, in your staking configuration screen here, you're going to see pending rewards. So you can see here the pending rewards are delineated. You've got the stake period start. It shows you which node you're staked to, that rewards are enabled. And you can also click the little drop down there. And that's going to give you the ability to view the staking information for other accounts, which is really cool. Really nice feature for people that use the Ledger Nano device. So if you happen to have your Ledger device staking HBAR, you can view the information on the ledger here. So you just enter in whatever the account ID that is essentially any account that you control. You want to view the staking information.
You can view other people's accounts too, though.
You can view other people's accounts, which is
and
kind
you
of
can trigger
interesting.
their rewards. Yeah.
Right, but which is, and so that might seem a little strange that you could trigger somebody else's rewards, but you could, so even without Wallawallet, you could trigger somebody else's rewards, because what's the trigger rewards? Anytime a balance change occurs on your account, that's going to trigger a rewards payment. So, I mean, I could pick any account at random and
there's an exception to that rule, though.
Each bar. Okay, all right, give me the exception, Rob.
There's a current exception, and that exception is if you transfer less than 1 HBAR for an indirectly staked account, then you will not see the rewards get kicked out. But that's something I talked to Lehman on LinkedIn a few weeks ago. I think that was that last week or the week before. But anyway, he said that they're actually going to make that change. So they're going to change it so that indirectly staked accounts will also trigger payments when a single tiny bar is sent. So that's cool. As soon as they do that, we'll make the change on our side and we'll support that as well. But right now, in order to trigger an indirectly staked account, you've got to go to the node that is directly staked, the account that is directly staked to the node, and send it, a tiny bar, or click collect rewards, and then it'll trigger it.
Right. So a little bit. So for folks out there that are new to staking, all this might seem a little daunting and perhaps a little confusing. There's great documentation available for Hedera staking, and we'll be sure to drop that link in the description of the live stream once we're finished up here. But really, at the end of the day, while we're kind of talking about the ins and outs and the details of staking and the configurations and all the different exceptions and all those kinds of things, at the end of the day, it's a simple process. You create an account, staking, you select the node, and away you go. Every 24 hours, the rewards are going to be available. It does compound daily if you want to do it daily, but as Rob mentioned earlier, there's really a very minimal difference compounding daily versus compounding weekly.
But it is addicting to click that button, Jeremy. It is addicting to click that button. And I know people have complained about the fees, 1/10 of a penny. Are you crazy? Well, if you did this every day for a month, you're looking at 1/10 of a penny per day, 30 days, you're paying us 3 cents. 3 cents a month, for a whole year. Maybe that's a little over 30 cents if you're really that, into compounding daily. But
right. And I
think those fees are reasonable. Come on.
Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, right. And we did make sure, that the fees that we were charging weren't going to wipe out the benefits. I mean, we went to those links to make sure that the fees that are being paid aren't going to wipe out the benefits of.
Actually, that part's not implemented yet, Jeremy. But
okay.
Yeah, we were going to put a warning up telling you, it doesn't make sense to do this now.
Oh, cool.
Well, so the warning, yes, right. But as far as the fee amount, though, is what I was referring to.
Okay,
yeah.
as far as selecting the fee amount, yeah, sure.
Right. So yeah, so the warnings, yeah, all additional bells and whistles to come, right?
So we're getting few questions from the audience.
Okay.
Live.
Great.
And, Dave Hooper wonders if there's an update to Wallawallet, and yes, there is, and he can see it in the App Store. And I think.
Okay, there's a reason that you might not see the update in the App Store, and that's if you were one of our beta testers and you signed up for the beta testing, and especially if you're on Android, you need to go back to that sign up link and the link for Android, and leave the beta program. And I know it's really annoying, but in Android, a lot of times you won't see that. Sometimes you won't see the leave link in the actual App Store itself for Wallawallet. So you have to go back to that website page, that tells you that you've joined it, and then click on the leave button from there. And once you do that, and then uninstall the app, and you should be able to install the latest version from the App Store. So that's definitely something that a number of our users have run into who've helped us during the beta testing.
For Android.
Right.
For Android, yeah. It
Right.
shouldn't be a problem for Apple, for iOS.
Got it.
But yeah, please, if you're having issues like that, please reach out to us on info@wallawallet.com.
All right, so I think that's really all that I wanted to cover today as far as getting into the features within Wallawallet. So I'll go ahead and stop the share there. And so the magic number for the day for the YouTube audience out there that wants to collect your $25 HBAR reward, go ahead and fire us an email at info@wallawallet.com, and the magic number for the day is 109. 109 is the magic number for today. So I'm going to see those emails flying in here any second. So just send us that magic number and you'll get your HBAR rewards. And once we finish up, we'll share the winner of the Twitter family that's going to win the 10,000 Jan tokens as well. So Brandon, any questions that pop into your mind over the stuff that out of the stuff that we went over today?
No, I do know that you guys are supporting additional file types as well, and multiple files and all that kind of stuff. Maybe you could touch a little bit on that.
Sure, yeah.
For your NFTs, for NFTs,
yeah, for the NFTs.
Yeah,
yeah, we are,
absolutely.
and I think we have
Rob.
we do have a spreadsheet for that, right, Jeremy? We have a sheet in Notion. I don't know if it's linked to from our main page yet, but the idea there was to show exactly which file types we're supporting and for which devices, so that you would know. Some of the file types are not supported on, I can't remember if USDZ is one of them. That might only be supported on Apple, but not on Android, the 3D modeling.
Yeah.
Whereas I think some of the GLTF ones or whatever, or GLTB might be supported on both. But yeah, so we can certainly do that, Jeremy. We can publish that information so that everybody can see that and they can know which ones are supported. So we support a lot of popular types like PDFs and PNGs and JPEGs and GIFs, and the USDZ one for the 3D modeling on iOS, the GLTF and GLTB files, if I remember correct. We support MP3. We support or some of the other ones. I think we support WAV files as well. And, yeah.
As we see more and more innovation in the NFT space, it's going to be necessary to support more of these files, and it seems like you guys are really up to date with making sure that you support all of them.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I've got a lot of people. Something happened with Taylor Swift. I don't, and I don't know the news. I hadn't caught up on the news.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
I really don't know what's going on with it either.
I haven't seen her anywhere. I think I'll have to check later.
Okay, so I've just had a number of users as I was kind of catching up on on some Telegram messages and stuff today. I had a few people fly in with, "Hey, did you see this thing that's going on with Taylor Swift? With all the additional stuff you guys are doing with your NFTs, what do you think about tickets, things like concert tickets?" And of course, we have absolutely thought about concert tickets.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I'm a musician, a guitar player. I play in a band called Agent Molder, agentmolderband.com. We do like hard rock 90s kind of stuff around here in the Raleigh, Cary area, and the Triangle area, basically in North Carolina. But we that's one of the use cases that's kind of near and dear to my heart. Anything that helps musicians and putting on events, and I would love to see a really nicely designed way to issue tickets and to be able to keep commemorative NFTs for events that you were at, and then have them properly redeemed by the venues and all that. So that is something that I'm interested in. I know our marketing guy that Jeremy was working with was also interested in that use case, and even one of the community members reached out to me on Telegram just a couple days ago and was asking me, "You really should put this into Wallawallet too." So it's one of about 40 different items that we have on our list, which our advisors are familiar with. So big direction of a big list of different directions that we could take as a company. And it's something that I'm kind of interested in, but there are many others, and it'll remain to be seen, I guess, which directions that we take. But
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, with all
the
the
thing
different
with
types. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was just going to say that I think the thing with Taylor Swift that I didn't really read into it very much, but I know there was I think a botched ticket sale through Ticketmaster or something along those lines.
Oh,
So,
Yeah.
you know, she was talking
Okay.
about taking it off of Ticketmaster altogether and doing it all themselves. So, you know, there could be all kinds of solutions that come out of this. And of course, NFTs and distributed ledger technology is a really great tool for, you know, these artists and venues and everything else to be able to manage their tickets effectively.
I'd love to be a part of that. Make it happen,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
all right. Sounds good. Well, I'm here in
I really
Nashville.
hope,
You know,
I really hope, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I really hope these celebrities can see us. That they are not fearful of everything that's happening at the moment.
You're cutting out there a little bit, Tim.
We can't hear you, Tim. You're too low.
Yeah, we lost your connection there for a second. But anyway, I was just saying I'm here in Nashville. Maybe I'll go down the street and see if I can't, you know, she owns a big chunk of one of the apartment buildings here. And I guess like the top 2 floors of this massive apartment complex that she owns are hers. So she's right down the road, but I don't know. I think they'd probably look at me like I was a lunatic if I went around asking. But anyway, I do look forward to digging in. And yeah, with all the different file types that can be associated, you've got
You're breaking up now, Jeremy.
ticket. Uh-oh. Check, mic check.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, we'll see this. Yeah, I may be losing connection here. I'm tethered to the phone. But at any rate, so given that, let's do some quick market updates. Have you got any Market Monday stuff for us, Brandon?
Sure. Well, I mean, the fallout from FTX is continuing, so that's certainly putting pressure on the market. You know, we have over the past 7 days, Bitcoin's down about 2%, Ethereum's down about 9%. Looking down at let's see. Algorand is down about 6%. I mentioned this last week, and we're seeing it kind of again. HBAR's down about 1% over the past, or I'm sorry, is up about 1% over the past week. So it's certainly standing out. It's certainly in the top quartile as far as performance over the past week. And it's not so much when we get a bounce on these levels that HBAR outperforms by any stretch, but it seems like when we drop down into that 4.3 to 4.6 range, it seems like we get a fair amount of support. I don't know if there's of course, none of this is financial advice or anything along those lines, but I don't know if there's a buyer in there that gets interested at those levels and we start to get buoyed once we start to get into that range. But it does seem like that's kind of where we're going. On another topic, one of the things that Mance said in the last AMA, and we put out, the HBAR Foundation put out a tweet just pretty much highlighting this one soundbite from the AMA we did with he and Shane, the CEO from the HBAR Foundation last week. But it pretty much says, you know, the projects that are interested in building and the enterprises that are interested in building on Hedera seems to be the opposite of what the aggregate market cap of the crypto space is. You know, as things have kind of dropped off, the projects that are interested in building on Hedera is going the opposite direction. He pretty much saying that it's going exponential, the amount of interest they're getting from the enterprise side. And there's already been so many things that have come out this year, whether it's I know it's coming eventually soon, the Atma.io stuff, but we have LG, they launched their stuff. They have a wallet. Of course, they have integration with their NFTs that are for Hedera on their smart TVs. We have DLA Piper. We have all that kind of stuff. We have gaming that is absolutely taking off with Astronova and Realm and Lithos and of course, all the stuff that's going on in the ESG space as well. We saw tons of stuff come out of COP27, and they're mostly, for the most part, leveraging the Guardian, which is the open source software that's put out by Envision. But just across the board, there's all kinds of stuff. ZennyPay was another thing that came out last week. That's in the travel space. But even though we are seeing a depressed market, and I know you guys talked about that a little bit in the beginning, we are seeing a lot of attention and things being built across the entire spectrum, whether it's on the retail side with NFTs and DeFi, or whether it's on the enterprise side with all the things that I already mentioned. So a couple small silver linings there that we do seem to be catching a bid between 4.3 and 4.6 cents, and then all the great stuff that's being built out in the ecosystem.
Right. And watching one of you put recently with David Perry, you mentioned, and this is something that you can see just in general, the amount of news now that's coming out daily, weekly, monthly, with all surrounding Hedera and the HBAR ecosystem and the token ecosystem around Hedera is just, it's more than we can keep up with. I mean, I saw I didn't get a chance, I haven't watched the whole video, the last one you made, 50 minutes. just absolutely chock full. And by the way, of course, thank you for the coverage, covering the wallets and giving
Yes, thank
Wallawallet
you.
a little bit of, a little bit of moment in the sun there. We appreciate that. Working hard for the Hedera ecosystem since 2018. So, so we super appreciate the, a little bit of limelight there.
Yeah.
But you're working hard. You're sharing all this information, and there's just a lot of it. It is a big pile of data coming.
And Brandon,
all the time.
with your show now, I was at 2x before. Now I have to go to 3x or something to get through the show quicker. But of course, when I got to Wallawallet, it slowed way down.
Sure. No, we literally can't keep up with everything. Zep and I even though we spent 50 minutes, and we don't go slow, right? It's from one thing to the other. We go through every single, and none of it's boring. Like, all of it is, it's not like we're pulling fluff out. All of it is substance, right? All substance, no hype.
Right.
And we got to the end, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot to mention." There was a few things that we were like, "Oh, we didn't," and I'm like, "Next week, buddy. I don't even want to. We don't need to get into it. We'll catch that stuff next week." But we can barely keep up with it. And
Right.
Again, silver lining, the Hedera ecosystem is really taking off. There's plenty of excitement just all around. So many people building real good value add things. And a lot of it is not in the speculation crypto trading, even though there's some of that in the DeFi space. Most of it's value add outside of the space, right? In other industries. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yep. And speaking of running out of time, I'm about out of time here. Somebody's pulling me out the door here. I'm still in the hotel, but we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We didn't get a chance to get into indirect staking, really. We talked about it a little bit, but there's plenty more details that we can get into. But we are going to be releasing a walkthrough video, simple walkthrough video on how to do this stuff as well. So that'll be coming out, and check out, this week you'll be seeing more announcements coming from Wallawallet here in the next week. So keep eyes and ears peeled. And without further ado, we're going to announce the Jam Token winner for the week. So from our Twitter family, if you're out there, at Ridgeza, RIDGEZA, at Ridgeza is our Twitter winner for this week. 10,000 Jam tokens coming your way. Of course, we'll be reaching out to you via Twitter. We'll message you out there. Either myself or Tim, our community manager, will be out to you. So get the Jam tokens associated to your account in Wallawallet, and we'll be sending you 10,000 Jam tokens at Ridgeza. And unless there's anything else, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Was there anything else that we need to add today? All right, great. Okay, so no other comments or questions from the YouTube audience?
No, quite all right. Yeah.
Great. All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks again for joining us, everybody. This has been another fun episode of Alternative Money Mondays. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We can't thank you enough. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, send us a comment. Comments are super important. So, if you like what you're seeing, if you like the information, if you want to see something else, if you want more information, less information, whatever it is, drop us a comment. Those are super important. Don't forget to check out Brandon, the HBAR Bull, and his Hedera, his YouTube channel. That's right. Always chock full of tons of good information, doing such a good job as always. And thanks again, folks. Thanks for your support, and we will see you next Monday.